Hello everyone, my name is Pixlriffs. Welcome back to Decidedly Vanilla. Today I'm going to show you a little bit about what I have done with the Pueblo, as it's kind of become over here, and the path is coming out a little way. I've got this sandstone running up the side here. Can't remember if this was in the last episode, but I don't think it was. And up here now we have ourselves a nifty little workshop, which I've been working on off camera. I thought this was kind of cool, and it's mainly a place that serves for me to have my smelting stuff happen in. And that's mainly going to be cooking fish for the business, as well as doing a couple of things. And I wanted somewhere to have a couple of anvils set up, because I've been using Jeff's anvil, and I feel bad for using Jeff's anvil constantly, even though the man probably has more iron than I do right now. I think it's nice to have our own stuff in there, and obviously this is open for anyone to come in and use it if they want to. Just a nice little workshop space, couple of shelves around the place, a couple of chests under here, which currently don't have anything in, but I'm planning to just keep a few supplies, bits and pieces in there. Nice little place, not too heavy on the detail, just something that I thought would be nice to go in one of these houses. I'm just trying to work out what to do with the other ones, and this one up here still doesn't have anything in. It's pretty much unchanged from last time you guys saw it, but I really like this. I kind of want to continue building in this style. In a few episodes time you may see a few other buildings popping up, but we're going to take a break from that today and show you what else has been going on the server. For a start, now that Jeff has showed this off in his episode, I'm going to show it off in mine. This is Jefferson's Skeleton XP and Item Farm, and he's got a nifty little entrance for this. All you have to do is walk over the pressure plate and drop down here onto the ladder, which is what I keep doing because I keep thinking it's facing that way, but it's not. It's facing this way. You can watch for falling players. KB and I have tested this already, and if a player falls on top of you, despite the fact that there are new entity collisions in 1.9, you don't squish them Mario style, so it's not a problem if you stand underneath there. But yeah, you might occasionally hit the slime block and bounce. But this place is a really neat setup. It's got the usual kind of stuff for storing all of the items you get, because you get a lot of items from skeletons. For some reason, Jeff has the stuff for potion brewing down here, which I completely understand because he's used to brewing up splash potions and stuff now, but you really don't need it anymore, because the fantastic thing about 1.9 is the sword swing animation will hit multiple mobs at once. So now all you need to do to kill a whole bunch of enemies is just soften them to a certain point, which Jeff has done with, I think this is Mumbo Jumbo's design for a mob softener. Just a lava blade comes out of the dispenser for 1 tick's worth of lava, gets all the skeletons down to nice like heart or a half a heart of health, and all you need to do is swing a sword at them. In fact, there was a sword in here. I guess people have used it enough that it's gone away now, but all you really need to do is wait for enough skeletons to get down in here, and you can watch them go through the watercourse over here, which is pretty cool. So we'll wait for these guys to come in, and then I will demonstrate how this works. But it is super cool, and it might be nice to leave a sword in here permanently, just so people can use it, so they don't feel obliged to make potions if they don't want to, because it works pretty well. But look at this place. Jeff has done a fantastic job of decorating. Love the way Jeff decorates stuff anyway, but the bookshelves and everything, the crafting tables and bookshelves actually go really nicely together. He's always wanted to put a few paintings around the place. He's got a clock up there, which is actually really nice, because you don't know what time it is when you're down here, and you don't want to pop up into the middle of the savannah, because it's still kind of exposed up there right now, and then if there's a creeper out front, then you might end up blowing up anything that Jeff has built out there. So all you've got to do when your skeletons are in place is just activate that. It's got a sand block, I think, that comes up behind there, activates the dispenser for a single tick, and then drops back down. Dispenser puts out a tiny bit of lava, which is not enough to flood the rest of this place, but gets all the skeletons down to half a heart, and then wham! All of them die instantly. Everything goes into the hopper. You get your XP. Job done. Nice one, Jeff. This is going to be really useful to have in such close quarters to Farhaven. It's going to be nice to have an endless supply of bone meal and arrows and so forth. Not that I need any, because I have a fantastic bow, which I need to rename. I think the main reason I made the anvils at my place... Oh yeah, minecart elevator, by the way. You guys have seen those before, you know what they do. The main reason I made the anvils up here was so I could rename my bow, because I misspelled the name. I am not good at spelling sometimes, occasionally, but that's not a problem. If I hop up here and rename it in the anvil, I can put there's like a G in the wrong place, and there should be 2 T's. There we go. Sagittarius. That's what I've decided to name the bow. Mainly because I think it's a weapon in one of the Final Fantasy games. There's a bow called Sagittarius. I think it's Final Fantasy 12 or something. It's one of those. I'm a nerd, guys. You know this about me by now. I've been replaying Final Fantasy 13 in the last the last few weeks, actually. I picked that up whilst the missus was away in America, and it's a guilty pleasure because it's really not a fantastic game. It's pretty good, but I don't know, a lot of people didn't like it, but it was my thing and I went with it, and yeah, I get kind of stuck into stuff like that. I wasn't going to play it for my channel because it's really like those long games. They're like, 60 hours you can put into that game, and I don't think anybody would watch it at this point, but I've been having fun just playing stuff like that off camera and doing my thing. So yeah, this is what we've got built here so far, and now I'm thinking about some house designs. There's a couple of other things have been built around here, but KB's house is kind of basically that mountain. He's converting that entire thing into either a house or a kind of community area where people can build little houses and kind of offshoots and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty cool. Biran has his island up there. Jeff has got his house over there, which I showed you in the last episode, and I kind of want to build something around here, maybe. I'm not sure quite where, though. So I'm going to do a bit of scouting around for a location, and I'm going to gather some materials. What I'm looking at is kind of a weird sort of modern take on the colors and styles you might see in traditional Chinese architecture. It's really weird. Like, I will probably have to show you to explain exactly what I mean, but I got a design together in Creative a couple of weeks ago that I really, really like, and at first it was going to be a shop, and now I kind of want to make it my house. So I'm going to find a sufficient area around here. I'm thinking maybe over there, or possibly even on the other side. I kind of want to keep all of my stuff fairly close to where I started out, though. And then, as a couple of people in the comments of the last episode were pointing out, we can just continue to build up to the top there with this Adobe style and have a house kind of on the top there that may not be even a house, it might be something else completely different, but we can kind of continue the pathway we've got up there between the buildings and around the buildings, and it can end up somewhere up there. And I could have my storage up there, I could have some other kind of shop up there. I don't know what's going to be up there, but it's going to be cool whatever it is. So I'm going to do some resource gathering off camera. I need to get myself a ton of cactus to dye some stained clay. I probably need to get some more stained clay now that we come to it, and I need a lot more glass. So we're going to go and get some sand from the endless desert which seems to be surrounding us here in Farhaven. I will be back with you guys in a few seconds. Don't go anywhere. So gathering up all the resources for this build is taking a little while, and it's probably not going to get finished this episode, but I have made a pretty strong start as far as I can tell. I've definitely got the foundations in place, and you guys will kind of see what I'm going for. And then in another episode, I'm going to grab a cooked fish, because I've reverted to eating salmon because I ran out of the cooked fish I had before, but it turns out I've got fish everywhere. I'm just coming up here to grab some cobblestone, and I may as well bring this bone meal and oak down with me, because we will probably need those in future. And eventually I'm going to be moving all of these chests down there. It's just for now I want to keep things a little bit organized up here. We're going to be making some cobblestone walls, and I need jungle wood, which means we're probably going to have to go out and find a jungle at some point. But you can see the start of it down there already, and I want to show you guys a little bit of the detail I'm trying to work into this build. And like I said, this is kind of inspired by traditional kind of Chinese architecture, the kind of classical stuff that has this kind of really ornate style around the windows and the kind of frames of buildings. So this kind of lattice is the only thing I can really think of to describe it, that goes in front of the windows and kind of hangs from the front of buildings. So that's what I've tried to do with all of the fence gates and stuff here, is really give it that kind of ornate feel whilst obviously not working with a huge amount of space. It would have to be really big in Minecraft to kind of come up with anything that looked that ornate. It'd have to be done with stairs and slabs. Fence gates were a decent compromise, and I think it looks pretty good. I've been trying to get a sort of pattern going here, and the jungle wood I was talking about is for the corners, because there's going to be cobblestone walls here leading up to kind of support the balcony part of the roof. And the top half of this is going to look a little bit different, and it's going to look kind of modern. It's going to have a flat roof, which is not all that common in classical Chinese architecture. They tend to have sloping roofs with very kind of ornate corners, tiles, that kind of thing. The kind of stuff that, again, it's difficult to look good in Minecraft if it doesn't have the scale, if you're working a little bit smaller like I am here. So thank you, server, for saving the world, my hero. So we're going to build this up bit by bit, and it's going to change a little bit from what I have in creative because I wasn't quite happy with the way the back of it turned out, and obviously here this doesn't really have a back yet, and I'm going to run out of time today before I can finish off the build. But we will come back to this in Monday's episode, and I hopefully should have a bit of progress to show you. One thing I really want to do, aside from getting jungle wood, is head into the nether, and I got myself a silk touch book, so I really need to get myself a silk touch tool that I can use to take down some glowstone from the nether. The other thing I need in great supply is quartz, and it's not for building blocks. If you guys have seen some of my other builds on my single player series especially, you'll notice that I have a bit of fondness for using daylight sensors as ceiling material, not necessarily for the floor of the bit above, but for the ceiling, that kind of almost like padded texture that the underside of daylight sensors have is something that is really desirable to me in terms of ceiling material. So I want to make myself an absolute ton of daylight sensors to go above each of the rooms here, and then there's going to be a slab floor on the next floor up, and then that's going to be the second floor. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this thing comes together. But alas, this is going to have to be a shorter episode. I have a bunch of stuff to do today, so I really need to get this episode out to you guys. And that's going to be it. Thanks very much for watching. My name has been Pixlriffs. Leave a like on today's episode if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see more. Tune in on Monday to see how this house goes, and I'll see you guys then. Bye for now.